Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a fat minute, but don't worry, I will try to continue posting as often as I could. Some things happened, we're all good now, but before anything, like and subscribe, comment down below to have any cheeses that you would like for me to cover. So today, this is gonna be a different type of video because I cannot try the cheese. I want to one day, but we'll get to that. So today I'm going to be covering a cheese called Casu Martzu, or Casu Martzu, I guess depending on how you spell it. If you spell it Sardinian or Corsican, it's Italian. If you're wondering what Casu Martzu is, you probably already heard of this type of cheese. It's called maggot cheese. Yeah, you've probably seen it on like shock videos or from like Salmonella or whoever else. But, I mean, that's about as far as you really know. You go, ew, gross, there's maggots in the cheese. I never want to try that. That's disgusting. Even though, I think it's weird. So, I'm a pretty picky eater. I don't like my onions or my tomatoes unless they're sun-dried or like blended. I don't really know. But my idea is, well, don't just like dip your freaking hand in it and just like take a big old bite out of it with like maggots in it. For me, if I were to ever try it, I would like pick around the maggots. And I know that's like gross still, but I mean, these maggots have been living in the cheese for like, what, 3 months? So it's not like they've been like on the floor or anything. I know like that's not why maggots are turned off for people. Like, it's just the idea of eating a wriggly little worm, which is fair. I'm not saying you're wrong for not wanting to try it, but if it's like health concerns, I don't really see like getting sick off of it. It's just a gross idea. So anyway, I'm gonna enlighten you with a truth nuke of facts and logic about this cheese so that you know a little more than just, it's the cheese that has maggots in it. So, Casu Martzu, sometimes spelled without the T, sometimes with the T. It's also called Casu Mode, Casu Cundido, and Casu Free. I don't know how to say that. I took 3 semesters of Italian, I still can't speak it. So, it's a traditional Sardinian sheep milk cheese that contains live insect larvae, or maggots. So, for those who don't know, Sardinia it's a region in Italy. So this is like purely an Italian thing, but then I guess sometimes they eat it in Norway or Sweden or one of those Nordic countries. Anyway, derived from Pecciorno, Casu Martzu goes beyond the typical fermentation to a stage of decomposition brought about by the digestive action of the larvae of the cheese fly. The cheese fly, of the Pyophilidae family. So they have like specified, oh yeah, the cheese fly, cheese skipper or ham skipper is a species of fly from the family Pyophilidae. I'm butchering that name, but anyway, whose larvae are known to infest cured meats, smoked or salted fish. So these things aren't even just in cheese, they're in like some cured meats. I should probably make a video on that. Anyway, these larvae are deliberately introduced to the cheese, promoting an advanced level of fermentation and breaking down of the cheese fats. The texture of the cheese becomes very soft with some liquid called lagrima, Sardinian for teardrop, seeping out. Ugh. So, I didn't read the wiki before making the video on this. So, the cheese is apparently not only like soft, but it's like wet from the larvae. So, I guess that makes picking out the larvae kind of more difficult. So, the larvae themselves appear as translucent white worms, roughly 8 millimeters long. When consumed, the larvae can possibly survive in the intestine, causing myiasis, though no cases have been linked to the cheese. That's good. Due to this danger, the cheese is outlawed in the European Union and other jurisdictions. So, I don't live in Europe, And with the FDA regulations, they sure as hell are not gonna let that here. I mean, even the wiki says it's rotten cheese. I don't know how appealing that sounds to put on your burger at Burger King or whatever. So, variations of this cheese also exist in I'm gonna butcher this name. Corsica, France, where it's called Casu Martzu. Casu Martzu. There we go. And is especially produced in some southern Corsican villages like Sartine. I'm butchering these names, I'm sorry. So, to the fermentation. Casu Martzu is created by leaving whole pecorino cheese outside with part of the rind removed to allow the eggs of the cheese fly to be laid in the cheese. A female picasai can lay more than 500 eggs at one time. The eggs hatch and the larvae begins to eat through the cheese. The acid from the maggot's digestive system breaks down the cheese's fats, making the texture of the cheese very soft. Hopefully. By the time it is ready for consumption, a typical Casu Martzu will contain thousands of these maggots. The pecorino is most desirable if made from milk collected towards the end of June due to the effect of the reproductive cycle of sheep on their lactation. In local fermentation traditions associate higher quality Casu Martzu with exposure to a warm Sirocco wind, which is thought to additionally soften the cheese to encourage further maggot activity. The overall fermentation process takes a total of 3 months, so there's a lot of iffy properties in this cheese, aside from the maggots. It's also the time which the fermentation starts, and then the wind. I don't know. Consumption. Casu Martzu is considered by Sardinian aficionados to be unsafe to eat when the maggots in the cheese have died. Because of this, only cheese which the maggots are still alive is usually eaten, although allowances are made for cheese that has been refrigerated, which results in the maggots being killed. That's what I like to hear in my maggot cheese. When the cheese has been fermented enough, it is often cut into thin strips and spread on moistened Sardinian flatbread, to be served with a strong red wine like Cananao. Well, I mean, I'd imagine it'd have to be a strong wine to cover up the maggot taste, let alone the taste of wine. Because the larvae in the cheese can launch themselves distances up to 15 centimeters or 6 inches when disturbed, diners hold their hands above the sandwich to prevent the maggots from leaping. Could you imagine? You're trying to eat a sandwich and a friggin' maggot leaps itself at you like a leap of glory so that it's not eaten. I think that would make me throw up. I'm gonna be honest. If I'm just picking up the maggots. I'm not eating the maggots. I'm just gonna stick with the cheese, thank you. I don't want maggots jumping at me. That would be enough. So, some who eat the cheese prefer not to ingest the maggots, i.e. me. Those who do not wish to eat them place the cheese in a sealed paper bag. The maggots starve for oxygen, writhe and jump in the bag, creating a pitter-patter sound. When the sound subsides, the maggots are dead and the cheese can be eaten. That is a very interesting thought. Just a jumping bag of maggots that you don't want to eat. It's like the worst Pop Rocks ever. Modern preservation techniques have expanded the cheese's shelf life to several years, where it would previously be unobtainable outside of late summer and early autumn. A cooperation between sheep farmers and researchers at the University of Sassari developed a hygienic method of production in 2005 aiming to allow the legal selling of the cheese. Well, thank God that the demand is there for eating maggot cheese. I'm very glad that they're heavily working on the case to sell it in a Walmart near you. Because of its fermentation process, the Guinness World Records listed Casu Martzu as the world's most dangerous cheese in 2009. History and legal status. As Italian journalists for CNN described Casu Martzu's cultural status as revered, and its unique status and the unique cheese-making process combined with the strong, rare taste of the dish are described as icons of the traditional Sardinian pastoral lifestyle. Local gastronomy, Giovanni Fancello traced the history of Sardinian cuisine to the island's time as a province of the Roman Empire, arguing that we have always eaten worms. We have always eaten worms. Fuck you talking about? We just find them and eat them. Pliny the Elder and Aristotle talked about it. Really? Aristotle be talking about eating maggot cheese? Is it that old? That's awesome, actually. It's part of our history. We are the sons of this food. We are the sons of maggot cheese. Casu Martzu is traditionally believed to be an aphrodisiac by Sardinians, and the shepherding, milking, and fermentation necessary for the dish feature heavily in the island's superstition and mysticism. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think maggot cheese is an aphrodisiac. I get the clams and oysters, I get the dark chocolate, I get the figs. You present me with a bowl of maggot cheese. I don't know if that's putting me in any mood. I'm gonna be honest. I think this is the new hip thing people should be doing. I think if that's really how you want to get the women, you should offer them a piece of maggot cheese, and they will be falling head over heels for you. You'll get that W Riz in no time. Just offer them a maggot, eat one yourself, go for it, whatever. The cheese was featured on a cooking show by Gordon Ramsay in 2011, increasing its notoriety to an extent among tourists. The cheese faced legal challenges from the government of Italy as early as 1962, when it was prohibited under laws against the sale of infested food. Because of the European Union food hygiene health regulations, the cheese has been outlawed, banned. You can't make it here. And offenders face heavy fines. Despite this, the laws are sometimes not enforced, and some Sardinians organize themselves in order to make Casu Martzu available to the black market, where it may be sold for double the price of an ordinary block of Pecorino cheese. As of 2019, the illegal production of this cheese was estimated at 100 tons, 98 long tons, or 110 short tons per year, worth between 2 to 3 million euros. Attempts have been made to circumvent the Italian and the EU ban by having Casu Martzu declared as a traditional food. The traditional way of making the cheese is explained by an official paper of the Sardinian government. And the very last line, Casu Martzu is among several cheeses that are not legal in the United States. But other than that, that's the video. I shall see y'all later with more cheese.